Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba! It's Friday!
Isn't it just? We know it's Friday, and we know it's Friday because Kaz is doing the countdown, even though she's in a queue waiting to see some pop star thing. Can't think who it is. I'm sure she'll comment and remind me.
She certainly will, because she is, of course, getting ready to shake her Tim Tams at Pink. And just for the clarification, Tim Tams are a type of biscuit that's available only in Australia. It's gonna be one of those days, is it not, Reverend Tony? How are you?
I'm absolutely fine, thank you very much. Absolutely fine. I'm just loving the merch. Is that new merch?
It's new merch, so it is a wonderful embroidered Independent Spiritualists Alliance fleece. I had to think of what the word is then. It is. I can't do it from there. I've got to do it from there. There we go. Pink, baby, pink. It is a fleece that is embroidered, and they are available from a company called Suffolk Insignia. I haven't finished uploading all of the special links and everything, the QR codes and everything to send people in the right direction yet. But that will be available ready for next show, because we do like our branding around here.
We do, yes. My shirt with our mugs on is down at the caravan. Otherwise, it would have been on today. I rummaged through the wardrobe for my short sleeve clerical shirt in light cotton, and I've only got my long sleeve in thick cotton. And I thought, no, it's too hot. It's too hot. So
it's actually cooled down massively here, hence that I'm not boiling away in my delicious new fleece. I do love a fleece. I don't know what it is about me, but I love a fleece.
I do. I love a fleece. I love a fleece. Dear me.
So I better switch back to the comments, because we're gonna have to start saying hello to everybody in a second, otherwise we'll never get caught up. It's wonderful. But welcome along, everyone. It is so good to see you. It's nice to see the wonderful list of names popping up as we go. There's one person in there that I know I'm going to grab hold of somebody when they come on and say hello, just to get them together and get an answer to a question, because it's just me being lazy, really. Mother.
Nobody needs to see that.
And ironically, must be psychic, I got my pink t-shirt I'm wearing from Suffolk Insignia, because they do custom work for anybody who asks it. And so yeah, it's a great company, and I'm not saying that I'm plugging people I know, except that other Tony is the one who very invariably ends up being the one who produces them on behalf of Suffolk Insignia. So there we go. But good to be back with you, my friend. Good to see you all coming along. And so let's start saying hello, because of course we'd better say hello to Kaza, who prompted us to start. There was a bit of an incident there, wasn't there?
There was. We thought, we've got all the time in the world. Kaz is going to see Pink. We don't have to rush. And then it started 10, 9. Oh, blummin' heck. We better get a move on.
Yeah, I had to nip for a pee rather quickly and sharpish. So, yeah, we did. And hello, of course, to the lovely Jen. Good to see you.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Mama Brown.
Oh, I better say hello to this one. Hello, Reverend Tony. Good to see you.
Hello, Samantha. How are you?
Sam is a lovely young lady. We've only recently met. She's doing the 4-week course on enhancing your evidence. She's joined that, and based on the conversations, I think we've got to keep her there.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Hi, Christine.
And where are we? Oh, hello. Hi, Nick, Tony, and everyone watching. I always love Fridays. We do too. Welcome along, Ashley. Good to see you. The lovely Reverend Ashley. I have received your message, and I'm going to put you in touch. Kaza, bit of housework here. So I do apologize. No, I don't apologize at all. Kaza, tap up this young lady here for that list of things that you're coming up with for next year for me, will you? As well as this gentleman that's beneath me too, because I'm sure he'd be happy to serve the new Little Port Sunday online only service that's going to be once a month from this Sunday, because we are back in the Boudoir del Brown. I'm so excited.
I saw that and thought, yay! Oh, and speak of the devils.
Yes, speaking of, yes, hello to Eunice and Tony, who are, of course, watching. We've just been plugging the merch, plugging the merch. Suffolk Insignia, plugging the merch. Also, I have had a question, and I know that Jen is watching, so I'm going to save myself a load of cross messages. Jen wanted to know, I believe I'm right in saying the mugs are dishwasher safe. So,
mine is.
Certainly mine's been through the dishwasher 3 times. So yes, I believe they are, but I said I'd ask to be sure because I didn't want to cause a problem. But I'm pretty sure they are dishwasher safe. Mine's certainly coming out lovely. So there we go. If you'd be able to confirm or deny that, that would be lovely. Bit of housekeeping over.
Oh, hello, Julie Caswell.
Hey, stranger, long time no see you. Good to see you. And another long time no see her.
Yes, Suzanne. Hi there, doll. How are you?
Absolutely lovely to see you. And it's nice to see everyone, as per usual, interacting and getting to know each other and catching up, because there's quite a few that are on the Thursday workshop online at the moment, or saying hello to each other, and it's wonderful to see.
Bonjour, Cheyenne.
It seems like forever since we spoke, Sherry. Realistically, it's about 50 minutes.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, you go save your batteries, Kaza.
Yes. You better, and I want to see a picture of Pink holding your Tim Tams.
I want a picture.
And I mean that in the most spiritual way.
Yeah, I want a picture of the shirt.
Yes, there is one out there, but take another one. Plenty
With
of shirts.
Pink wearing it.
Yeah. Just save the pictures for the in-between bit, all right? No.
Yeah.
Oh, we are so naughty, and I don't care.
No, neither do I. Isn't that something that we get a lot, though? That, well, how are you two Revs? Because you're so irreverent.
Yeah.
And I was like, Spirit don't want us to be boring. They don't.
Yeah. You know what? I always, when people ask me that, I always go back to the conversation that I had with Lynn when she was testing me for ordination. And she just looked at me square in the eyes and said, of course, you do realise that now. So, I hate it when this does this. Reply, no, I don't want to reply. I want to show it. There you go. I get all fingers and thumb. We'll send the T-shirt to Nick. Auction it off for the church. Famous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always go back to that moment where Lynn was testing me, and it's a really, really good one. She says, of course, now you are a minister, or will be a minister. You will have to behave in a certain way and behave in a certain kind of manner, and you must behave yourself, and you'll have to change your behaviours. And I looked and said, well, you've always taught me that I should be myself. And if I'm going to be a minister, you asked me to be this person, and you asked this person to be that role. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to change. And she just looked at me square in the eyes and said, right answer. if you'd agreed to it, you wouldn't be being ordained.
Exactly.
And that means a lot to me, and I've carried that on, you know, throughout my whole development. But we do have to be a little bit cautious. We must say hello to David, Sam's son.
Hello, David.
So we'll have to be very careful with our discretion when it comes to the double entendre.
Oh, yeah, we're always close to the line.
I'm going to say, so long as
hit the line.
So long as we've still got a big toe on the edge of the line, we'll usually be fine.
Yeah. Oh dear. But no, that's what I find, that the churches and centres and services, online or not, I do. I was 25, that's fine. Where the humour's flowing and there's laughter and love flowing around the room are wonderful. When you walk in and there's more fun in a morgue than there is in the room, those services are such hard work.
Yeah, really, really is.
You know,
if you are allowed to, as I say on a Wednesday every other week, let loose, you feel more comfortable, you feel more authentic, don't you?
yes, you do. You do, because you're comfortable, you're in your own zone, and spirit are with you and they're flowing. And spirit love to work on that positive energy. They don't like to drag it up from the grave and oh no.
Yeah.
No. Oh, hello, Wayne Flint.
I will come to that young man in a second because I need to ask a favour from everyone. But isn't there a joke from the Vicar of Dibley about sausage fingers? Am I remembering right? Thank God for that, because the alternative was it's a joke that I heard that I shouldn't be repeating. But I was pretty sure it was.
No, it was a Geraldine joke.
I thought so.
Yes. Yeah. Love that.
Absolutely. Of course, you did point out the lovely Wayne Flint. Now, the other half is having tests today, so please send Wayne and the missus some healing, please. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble.
Absolutely.
She'll beat me up when she sees me on Thursday. She's very good at beating me up on a Thursday when I've forgotten something, which, as we all know, is all the time with me.
I was going to say that's every Thursday then. I always know when it's time to put YouTube on after for your service, because it's just about straight after the One Big Thank You on the One Show.
Yeah. Yes.
One Big Thank You. Turn on YouTube. Ta-da!
Brilliant. I love that. Hi, Kai. Straight in. Shrek, don't you point those dirty sausages at me, voiced by Jennifer Saunders.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Remind me to tell you about the party my friend went to after the show.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not on the show.
It's not a show conversation, is it? Right. Okay, we need to investigate this further, everybody. We did say we sail close, but no, I think yeah, it's. I want to actually come to that thing about memory, because it's something that we haven't spoken about in a long time. It's something that doesn't come up very often, but mediumship and memory.
Yes.
I was always told if you've got a bad memory, you'll be a good medium. If you develop to be a medium, you'll get a bad memory. Sorry.
Yes.
It's getting worse. So do you experience that at all?
Absolutely. It's I did Jean's Centre, not Sunday, gone Sunday before, and the Sunday after you. And somebody came to me afterwards and said, "Oh, when you talked about so-and-so wearing that dress."
Huh?
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I? And you just smile. Okay. Don't remember. And that was literally within half an hour of giving that message. It's gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely gone. And I was always taught that it's because you cannot retain that amount of information and it's not your information to retain. But
Absolutely.
in general, my memory is shocking anyway at the minute. But
Yeah, I'm getting like that. But yeah, it is. The point is, for me, I suppose, one of the pieces of evidence that we give is how someone passed. Would you want to remember that feeling and that emotion associated with that for every single person that you will have
no,
connected with?
no, not at all. Even I can't say a normal transition, but any transition is painful for in terms of emotion for the family, for the person who's gone. I always get from spirit that they grieve like we do because we grieve the loss of the physical. So do they. They can't
Yeah,
come and give you a cuddle anymore. So they grieve. But yeah, when somebody's gone in an emotional fashion and think that can be tragic, absolutely
yeah,
tragic.
absolutely.
And no, I do not want to carry that. I don't want to remember that. I carry the love that I get from spirit for their families here. I carry that with me, but I don't carry that at all. I wouldn't want to remember all of those
No,
stories and emotions at all. It's no, 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 no.
absolutely.
Oh dear. Here
Hello,
we go.
Sarah, and of course, hello, boy. Hello,
Hello,
Rev
hello.
Matthew Stapley. Hello, darling. I can just about make out those bulging biceps in the profile picture. Not
Yes.
that we're looking, specifically, but hello, darling. Good to
No,
see
I'm just wondering if I can zoom in.
you.
Oh dear. No, Kai is absolutely right. We would not want to
Yes.
carry the emotional weight of everybody we read for at all. Certain ones stick out in my memory for
Yeah.
the positive, for the
Yes.
positives, even though in the moment it's terribly sad and terribly emotional. But when you speak to the people afterwards and they say, that has closed a chapter for me that has been a long time coming in my life,
Yeah.
then it's rewarding. But oh gosh, I thought that was Matthew replying for a second. Then I was thinking,
I was wondering
oh,
where that was going. If it was, then I noticed it was from Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
hello, darling. Oh dear. But anyway, serious face on. But no, and the other thing I thought to tie in with the memory and things is when you're reading for someone like I told you before the service, I was reading for a young lady this morning, and she.
That's a star one. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. God, that was a memory from donkeys years ago. I was only tiny. How did you know that?
Yeah,
Because Grandad sat in that chair and he's telling me all about it. But
absolutely.
no, it's the tiny little bits of a message
Yeah,
that are not your Uncle George or your Auntie Nellie, or it's the little bits of detail that seem irrelevant but mean a lot.
absolutely.
It absolutely would be brutal, Matthew. Absolutely would be brutal.
It reminds me really one of the imageries that I was given by Spirit to describe how our minds filter that information, and it works on so many levels, is that of a sieve. It all gets dumped in, but is allowed to slowly filter through and drain out. It stays in there long enough so that you can get it and use it and see it, but it drips through and disappears out of your image. Occasionally, there will be tiny little chunks that are too big for the holes that will remain in there, but those are the little nuggets that remind you that it was there, that remind you that you are able to prove survival, that remind you to help you build your confidence. But it's never that full bag of flour. It's those tiny little lumps. And if you gently rub them, they will go through too. But sometimes you get to retain these tiny little nuggets that will help you develop, but never that full weight, because it all naturally has to drain out eventually. But it stays in the sieve long enough that you can focus on it. And I've always liked that image of a sieve,
I
because
like that.
certainly my brain has been like it recently. I mean, last week I spent 2 days looking for the village hall keys and was obsessed with the fact that I'd lost them. They were hanging on the hook where they were supposed to be. I'd looked at them 20 times in those 2 days. They'd never gone anywhere.
No.
So yeah, another keeper. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I hope that helps and gives you all permission to forget things from time to time if you are developing as a medium.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not me, it's them. Bit of a giggly one.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to ask last night, do spirits see you on the toilet because she feels embarrassed that her other half might see her? Well, it's good news and bad news, I'm afraid, because yes, they do. In actual fact, they are more drawn to you when you're on the toilet. But I'm not going to leave you with that. I'm going to explain a little bit more from my perspective, and then obviously Tony will add, subtract, take away, divide, and multiply by 3 wherever he feels driven to do so. But for me, the way I've been shown it is, yes, they do see us, but they don't see us as we see ourselves or each other. They see our truer essence. They see our soul, and they see our spirit. Careful how you phrase that when you're talking about being on the toilet. But they do see
Mm-hmm.
our soul. But the point is, they see us as spirit, not physical body. So they don't see all of the gubbins and the machinations that goes with the physical world. What they see is who we are. The thing about being on the lavatory is you are going through a process of personal cleansing. You are cleansing yourself, which means that your light begins to shine brighter. It's the only way to describe it for me, really. The light of your soul shines brighter because you are going through this process of cleansing. So they are actually more likely to come to you when you are in the process of cleansing because your light is brighter.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the concerns, though. Hopefully, the veil smells like roses, carnations, and everything else that isn't a giant. I love you, Matt. I do.
It's superb. Superb. I love that man.
Absolutely. But yeah, the way I've always been shown it is that they see your light, not your
Mm.
physicality. And because you are taking King Kong's first dump of the day, your light shines brighter.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so they're more likely to come at points when you're having a shower, when you're having a bath, when you're when you're on the loo, cleansing your inner self. Your outer spiritual self shines brighter. So that's what they see, not the physical indiscretions of actions required to be a human being.
Yes.
Tony,
Yes.
what do you think? What are your
I agree. I agree that spirit can be with you anywhere at any time. What I would say is, if you are aware of spirit, or if you feel there are spirit around you and there are certain times you don't want to be troubled therewith, you can. Jean always taught me when I was developing that you're in charge. Spirit want to work with you. So they will do what you require to get that information through. So if you say the bedroom door is the boundary, you cannot walk through it. When I'm in the bedroom, that is my time. When I'm in the lavatory, that is my time. If I'm in the shower, that's okay. But when I'm using the lavatory, please don't. They will respect that because they want to work with you. So they will respect your boundaries and personal space.
absolutely
If you're like me, you just don't care, and it's like wherever, whenever, that's fine. Okay. There are times when I do say, "Excuse me, not just right now. I'm busy." So otherwise, it's an open door for me. You can whenever you like, but they are very good at respecting boundaries and
They
respecting
are.
what you want. So if Julie is a bit embarrassed about partner might see her in the bathroom, then just say, look, when I'm in the repertoire, please wait on the landing. I'll deal with you when I get out there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not a problem.
Completely agree.
Go on. No, I was just going to say, it's much like when people have rung me and said, I think there's somebody in my house and I'm not sure I'm happy about it. And you go and you're like, yeah, there is a gentleman and he's this and he's that and the other. Well, what do I do about it? Well, if you'd walked in here as a physical person, what would you do? Excuse me, this is my house. Can you please leave?
Yeah.
Oh, is it that simple? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Sometimes they are awkward so-and-sos and you have got to go in there with the big guns and do a cleansing, but I would say 99.9 times out of 100, I've just gone in and gone, excuse me, this lady lives here now with her son. Do you mind just scooting off and being with your family?
Absolutely, yes. I completely agree with you, and that's a really, really important one to remember. It does remind me, as you develop and grow and become more aware of how they see us, you do get a little bit more nonchalant about it. And absolutely, it's a valid point. Exactly the same point. Exactly.
I was going to say that's that. I'm busy at the minute. Can you just please trot on?
Reverend Tony was being slightly discreet, but yes, when you get to a point where you just don't care, it is really like the old Martini advert, isn't it? Anytime, anywhere, any place. And I'm not talking about the nookie. I'm talking about spirit contact.
The mediumship. Yeah.
Contact with spirit. Absolutely. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Tony. You should set boundaries and borders, unless you're like us and just say to spirit, bring the Febreze with you. Yeah, exactly, Eunice. Talk to spirit. Where is it? There you go. Talk to spirit as you would talk to a person next to you. Yeah, please, either sod off or bring in the Febreze, love. And it's good to know that they don't have mobile phones in their pockets to record everything.
Oh yeah. I wonder if spirit do have spirit mobile phones.
I hope not.
No, when I get there and they go, Tony, look at this.
No. You was worried about the mobile phones. We don't. But here's the Akashic records. Have a look at your highlights, dear. But yeah, it is about personal spice. Hello to Sarah. Welcome along, my lovely. As you can see, we are, as per usual, skimming the gutter of our brains. And combining it with spirit contact, which I think is awesome, really. I love it. Sarah just said, I love the honesty on here this afternoon and the questions. Sometimes you got to be, because, interesting. Sarah, I was talking to Sarah yesterday, and I actually quoted you in a roundabout way. Absolutely. Because we was talking about the questions that's and it's kind of like a theme throughout the week. I was talking about it to Cherry earlier on in a roundabout way. I was talking to Sarah about it yesterday. The questions that people ask, and there are certain quarters in this way of life that will poo-poo a question and say, oh, that's not a question that should be asked, or, that's a ridiculous question. Why are you even asking it? I always remember what you said very early on in our conversations. And it wasn't even online, it was just general chit chat. The only silly question is the one that you didn't ask because you were afraid to.
Yes.
I'll never forget that. And I do quote you on that all the time, mate, because the only daft questions are the ones that you don't ask. And some people might think, oh, well, what a ridiculous question. But then a phrase that I absolutely hate, by the way, and I can't believe they're making me use it. But when it's a question that people might think of that, I just wish they'd sit there and let it sink in. It's not a daft question. Do they see us on the toilet? Do we get privacy? Can they see us, bumping and grinding in whatever fashion that we do.
Bumping uglies.
But that's the bumping. Oh, you broke. Bumping ugly.
Sorry.
But they are actually really genuinely good questions to ask because it helps you understand the mechanics of the spirit world.
Yes, and if one person's thought it, you can bet your bottom dollar
Yes,
50, 60 people have thought it.
absolutely.
I'm not asking that. Yeah.
There are no daft questions, and there are certainly very rarely any original questions when it comes to spirit. They've heard it all before, and based on our conversations, they've seen it all before as well.
Yeah. Fred,
But they don't have to. You can say,
yeah.
out the door, down the corridor. Give me 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. 30 seconds, love. Hi there, big man.
Hello, Daniel. Good to see you. So yeah, it's really, really important. All of these questions are important, and segueing slightly to another one, slightly more serious. Although I'm sure we'll find a way of bringing it into the gutter. I know I'll try.
Yeah.
Question from the lovely Sam here. How often should you sit in the power? That's an interesting one because some people don't even bother sitting in the power. Some people spend so much time sitting in the power and find it so important. I'm very open-ended in this one. So, Tony, what is your view on frequency and importance of sitting in the power?
Simple answer, whenever you want.
Yeah.
When you need to.
Yeah.
I tend to, when we've finished watching telly in bed and we're settling down for the night, I tend to close my eyes for 10 minutes and just meditate and pray and think about the day, and I use that time to lay in the power, if you like, in the light, whatever you want to call it. Some people say sitting in the power, some people say sitting in the light, sitting in the energy, whatever it is. But I use that time to just connect with spirit and sort of say thank you for all the opportunities of the day, and please send out the healing to all those who need it, and that type of thing. But it's whenever you need to, how often you feel you need to for your connection. It's your relationship with the divine and your relationship with spirit, not ours. And it's not for anybody to tell you how often you should sit and contemplate and meditate and whatever it. Yeah. Yeah, Kai, I like that. Yeah, I am in the gutter and I'm looking at the stars.
Absolutely. And you know what?
How about you, Nick?
I completely agree with you. It is not for us to tell people what rate and what pace they develop. There's time for advice and caution and thoughts shared from others, but sometimes it will resonate with you, sometimes it won't.
No.
For me, I think I know someone who forced themselves to sit in the power twice a day. And I said, I think that might be over-egging it a little bit unless you're enjoying it. Well, I just get so stressed out about it. I said, right, slow down then. Reduce it down to once a day. Reduce it down to 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You use 2 very important words, want and need. And it is about the want and need. That time to sit and simply be swimming in the stream of spirit and just simply being you, your authentic you. It is absolutely, as Eunice says, it is an individual thing. And it's not for people like us to tell people when they have to and how they have to. I mean, I did on the Mastering Liminality, I did a meditation called Swimming in the Power, which is a guided version of sitting in power, because not everybody is able to switch off, and some people need that help and support and guidance. And so, there are different ways of sitting in the power. There are different reasons for sitting in the power, but certainly want and need, and what resonates with your own truest comfort and self.
That is an absolutely great point, Nick. And Sam's original point of where is it?
Hang on. Going up.
Oh, evolving with the spiritualism. No, that is it's your journey. It's you evolve at your rate. And I found that, like I said, that 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes on a night, just lay in, close my eyes, and just a few deep breaths. That's enough for me. But and sometimes it might be in between appointments with things, just a couple of deep breaths, and that just centers me and just allows the energy to flow and prepares me for the next bit. But everybody's journey is different. My development journey was completely different to Nick's, to Reverend Sarah's, to anybody else who's watching on here. And it's something I think we said to another person who I believe is currently queuing to see Pink, where she was getting up in her own head about, oh, it's not working, I'm not doing this, it's not, other people are able to do this and that. But yeah, but this is your path, your journey. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just enjoy your journey, and spirit will support you in that journey.
Yeah. And to be fair, any half reasonable mentor or guide from the physical side will respect that and work with you. This comment, the fact that it has to exist bothers me. The fact that you've got the courage to ask it cheers me up no end. I've had many different views and was told as often as you can, but sometimes life gets too busy to give yourself that time, so have been relaxing with it. The point is, anyone who tells you that you have to do this and you have to do that, you have to think this, you have to think that, doesn't understand the importance of the spiritual journey for me, because it is unique and it is individual. We as mentors and helpers of your development can only offer you, pointers, indicators, ways of working that. And if you come to me for a couple of hours and I talk to you for 3, which is how it usually works out, and only 10 minutes of what I say resonates with you and you make use of it, I'm happy, because not everything I say is going to resonate with everyone. Not everything that I show you how to do is going to work for everyone, because everyone is different. Everyone should be different. I was talking to someone today and I was like, it would be absolutely boring and frustrating if, because I was talking about the up and coming fledglings evening that we're going to be having from my longest running permanent circle, and I was saying, if I can sit there and all 4 of you are different, authentic, unique, and working your own way within the confines of actually being your authentic self, of proving survival, of giving good solid evidence, but doing it in your way, I'll be over the moon. If everyone were to turn around and say, oh, look, a lovely new generation of Nicks, then I have failed as a mentor.
Yeah.
Because if I am creating mini me's, that is what ego is all about. That is restricting development. And what's the point? One of me is, frankly, more than enough, probably too much sometimes. Our job as mentors is to help you connect with your own way of working. And if we can help steer you in that direction without over influencing you and making you into carbon copies, we've done our job.
Yeah. What I do is the first thing Jean and myself will teach somebody is the importance of being grounded and the importance of opening and closing and protecting yourself while you're working with spirit.
Yes.
We will say, if people haven't worked with spirit before, just imagine you're pulling a cloak up over your head and that's your protection, and wrap it around you. And that will work for now, but you will find your own way of opening and closing to spirit.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. It's your way of working. It shouldn't be my way or Nick's way. I may say, one night when Nick's online and he's serving his own church, just have a watch, see how he does it. You might pick up some things that you think, oh, that could work for me, or that might not work, or that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know a medium whose stepmom works with spirit as well, and somebody once said to her, oh, you work just like so and so. She was mortified. Absolutely. She's like, I don't. I work like me. You know,
Yeah.
just because that lady is my stepmom doesn't mean I'm a carbon copy. It's just,
Absolutely.
I think it might be why.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. It is your journey, your connection with spirit, and spirit will find their own unique way of working with you, using your individuality and your uniqueness, because that's what it's about. You will find that as you develop and you give readings, somebody might say to you, that person's never been through before, but as soon as I met you, I knew you were the right person to bring them through because they would have loved your energy.
Yeah. And Sam actually was talking about Paul Jacobs yesterday and some of the things he'd said to her, and I absolutely agree with that. I was just being reminded. I think it was Sarah. Sarah, I know you're on. You've been very quiet, by the way. If it was you, just remind me. I think said something about, our job is to make ourselves an authentic and bolder version of your own self, not mini me's, or words to that effect. And that absolutely, rung true with me, because it is about being your authentic self. And I believe that or to be the same in terms of our job as ministers on the religious and philosophical capacity. And I know people are going to be bored of me saying it. I don't actually care, because I think it's important. It's not our job to tell you what the divine is. Our job is to help you find it if you wish to, and build that relationship with it yourself. Because your relationship with me is different to your relationship with Mum or with Jean. Your relationship with Michael. They're all different relationships, but you're still the same person. And that's the same with the Great Spirit and each one of us.
Yes.
That relationship is unique and individual and works in its own merit. And it's not our job to tell you how to be religious or spiritual. It's to help you find that connection and grow it yourself. It's the same with mediumship as it is with philosophy, spirit, and the religious side of it too.
Yeah, there's a psychological theory actually that says you are your own self, but on a morning you are a dad, you get your children up, you get them ready for school, you drop them off at school. Then you might be a brother because you go and see your brother or your sister, and then you go and see your mum, so you're the son. There's many different roles, and I believe the divine is like that. The divine is whatever you need it to be at that point in time.
Yes.
And like you said, it's not for us as ministers to tell you how to be with the divine. It's for us to introduce you and say, go on then, off you go, nurture that relationship,
Yeah, I love that.
And what you said at the beginning was, if you want to.
Yeah, if you want. Absolutely. That is a complete condition.
Yeah.
And I love that as Eunice says. That's why we say development, and I know what she's thinking as well. That's why we say development and not teaching
Yes.
and
Yes.
preaching. I know that's coming. Um, hello, Olive. Cherry's outed you. I know you. I know you're watching because Cherry's outed you.
Hmm.
What was that? Hello, Lisa, darling. Oh, here we go. Being a former fledgling of Revnix, I don't feel we work the same way with Spirit. We are similar in some respects. Personality wise, I think we are the same, but we both work different ways, and that's cool. Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And you know, when people can't figure out, this is going to sound really, really naughty, and it's not a pop at anyone, but there are times when you're sitting there and you know exactly who's been in whose development because it is that mini me, and that's a shame. But there's no way people would know that Lisa is unless she says, is one of my fledglings because she's her own self. You know,
Mm.
you've never seen me standing on the platform, you know, reading tea leaves. I can, but it's not something how I work. But it absolutely works for Lisa, and it absolutely works with Lisa. And that's why, you know, there are certain things I know. I was talking about it earlier actually to Cherry. There are things that Lisa did in development circle that she has taken, nicked, tweaked, changed, made her own, and continued using in her career of working for Spirit because it resonated with her and she nicked it. Now, some people will say, oh, you know, all those little things that you do in circle should stay in circle. Well, if that's the case, then why do we bother doing them? Take them out, show the world.
Exactly. And I mean, something else I say is it's a way to connect with spirit, psychometry, tarot reading, color, ribbons, music,
Yeah.
tie-dye readings that Jean and I do. It's all a
Yes.
way to connect with spirit. It's just a way of spirit giving you information, giving you
Yeah.
the energy and the messages. Use them. If somebody said, Tony, can I get a sheet of white cotton and tie-dye it and cut it up and use it in my demonstrations? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I,
get precious about it.
Reverend AD came up with this way of reading with folded and crumpled paper. Hi, Olive. Olive reads duvets.
Really?
She reads duvets and bread spreads, and she's very, very good. Kai came up with this whole wonderful creation of reading sticks. Um, all these wonderful things, they're unique, they're individual, they're quirky, they set you apart, they make you different, they reflect you. And that's the most important thing, to be your highest, most authentic self, but be different, be unique, be interesting, be something other than the norm.
Yeah.
That's the whole. That's what the pioneer. We talk about the pioneer, and I know I've said this before. I don't apologise either on this one. The whole point of the pioneers was that they went off and did things their own way and said, "I'm not going to conform. I'm not going to be norm. I'm going to explore new frontiers. I'm going to push the boundaries." That's what they want for us. You know,
Yeah.
when I first started developing, when I first started going out on the platform, I'd done shoelace readings with Lynn. You know, give me your shoe, take your shoelace out, I'll read your shoelace. Well, I was talking, I think it was somewhere out near Kettering. Rushden, it was Rushden, because I always remember Rushden and Diamonds. I was serving Rushden Church and I was sitting there talking to my chair, who was also the president of the church. I was talking to her about how I'd used shoelace readings in development. And she said, oh, I haven't heard of that one. Show me. So there we are before the service. And I gave her a shoelace reading. And she said, next time you come, I want you doing that. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I thought, oh, she'll forget. The next time I came, as I walked in the door, she threw me a carrier bag full of shoelaces. And she introduced me. And now we will have a demonstration of working with shoelaces from Nick Brown, the Shoelace King. I'll never forget that. And it was just wonderful and different. And, all these wonderful, interesting things that different mentors teach you and show you in a development circle. Don't just leave them in the development room. Bring them out to the world. I think it's
Exactly.
wonderful.
I do. And if you're showing somebody something, a congregation, something new that they have not seen before, they're engaged, they're there, they're listening, they're switched on. And that's
Yeah.
the point. I saw that from Daniel, and it's brilliant. Brilliant. Maybe
Absolutely.
some of the stuff's a bit much for a platform, maybe, but no, it's absolutely fine. You do you. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jean's place and Nick's place, you get away with stuff at, but some churches are a little bit too
Yes.
for that.
Those churches that have invited me to not return, because I was honest about being spiritual. I will never forget those days, and I'll never forget those
Yes.
places. But yeah, so I hope that kind of answers your question. So I know we kind of veered off the track a little bit.
We went a little bit wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Alonzi.
But oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, just thinking of something then that I shouldn't be thinking when I'm working spiritually. But yeah, so I hope that helps, and everyone's feedback as well during this. Take that on board and and make it your own, Sam. Is all I can ever say.
Yeah.
And I want to come to this one because I think this is going to be a whole can of whoop-ah. And that is this question here. Reverend Tony, Daniel Carlton asks, have you ever had a random person come to you, not for a message to anyone, just a random person come up from spirit to talk to you?
Yep. Yeah.
And the next question would then be, would you like to elaborate or
it happens. It happens. Sometimes you'll be out and about and a spirit person will see a kindred spirit in some sense, and they do sort of the light's on, I can see, and they'll come and introduce themselves and tell you all sorts of stuff. A bit like I remember saying to you once, Nick, about I dropped Jean off at Hornsey and taking the dogs for a walk along the prom, and this random guy came up to me and was like telling me his life story because I had the collar on.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. If I always say when you're connected with spirit, there's a little light shining above your head and spirit can see it.
Yeah.
And they'll zone in and they come and they have a chat. And it can be just, they'll tell you their life story and, I used to bring the kids here and that's why I'm here. And, I remember one lady, it was a park, actually, I was walking around and she used to take her children there. So she'd come to just reminisce and I happened to be walking through and she'd seen the little light shining and come to talk to me and tell me all about her kids, and they're all grown up now and they've got their own kids and,
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens. It's just how you deal with it and how I think even if that lady's children, adults as they are now, had been in that park at that time, I wouldn't have been one of those American mediums that run up and go, oh, excuse me, I've got your grandma here. And no, they might not be ready to hear from grandma, but it's nice that grandma wants to tell me that story and wants to share that with me. And yes, Eunice, I think it's because they do feel like they have to share, they want to share stuff. And if they've not been able to connect, then the least chance, the soonest chance they get, they will. And they'll tell you that story. And it might be that they want help with something or, and that's what we're there for. Just as we are for physical people as ministers, as for spiritual people, we can do the same thing. We can just talk and listen and share and,
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree. And yeah, I mean, everybody else have you? I know we've got a number of working and developing and growing mediums online. Have you ever had a random encounter when you've had your little bubble on? And just be wary in mind that linking in isn't the only thing that makes that little light grow. Of course, ablutions do the same, as we discussed at the beginning of the show.
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and ironically, that's when I've had stuff like that happen. When I've been at work and I've been using the ablutions. Um,
Yeah.
the people,
Little voice saying, hello.
yeah, being in a very public place like a shop or a petrol station. I'd never have said this while I was still working for the firm, of course, because I didn't want to scare anybody. But yeah, I would constantly get people just coming and saying hello that have been tagging along with their relatives wanting to say hello while I've been at work, and not to pass on a message because the guides have already said he won't, not unless it's absolutely vital because he's in his working environment. But if you want to say hello, then absolutely, yeah. And I used to chat with them all the time, as Mum points out. Um, I was doing it on the way home from church last night. When I'm in the car with Nick, he speaks to spirits, not me. And I chat with them on journeys and just randomly natter.
Mm.
Um, Wayne's pointed out, Yvette says she said she happens all the time. It happens to her all the time. Lisa, I had this when I was visiting a church. Lovely man in spirit wanted to tell me about when he altered the building. A really interesting man, and yet you can learn so much about just random stuff and history and the places that you visit just by listening.
Absolutely, absolutely. And and it is nice to think that, when we say um about cutbacks in services and things, and sometimes going into a shop is the only time somebody might see somebody in the week. Well, imagine being in spirit and
Mm,
wanting to communicate and nobody being able to see you, hear you, or anything. And then all of a sudden you find somebody who can. It must be really lovely to be able to just go up and
yeah,
say, excuse me, can I just chat to you a minute? But yes, you're right. You can learn so much about things that happened in the past and things that have happened in the area just by opening up and listening to those people. Our lady pop in when we were looking at a property. She advised us to buy it, and we did.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's awesome, and it is just kind of like the social side of being a medium. It's just an extra group of people to talk to.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads on quite nicely to a question that I started from Kai for a little while ago. Um, have you ever asked for someone specific to come through for someone, and have they stepped forward? Now, I think this is a really, really important one
Yeah.
because this is a certain brand of mediumship that isn't spoken about as much as it used to. And ironically, again, I've had this conversation this week. It's called reverse mediumship in terms of you t- and there was one. I can never remember his name, and I do apologize. When I was early in development, so this is about 20-25 years ago, there was this medium who came and served at Littleport. He passed away soon after, which was such a shame, and he was greatly missed. He was notoriously well known for reverse mediumship, and the way he would link in during a service wouldn't be, okay, can I come to you? Or can anyone understand this? He'd look around and he'd go, may I come to you? Yes. Right. Who do you want to talk to? Just give me a
Oh,
first name. And I'd like to talk to Brian. Okay, so my guides are going off now to go and see if Brian is available to step forward. If he's around, obviously, it'll be very quickly. If he wants to talk, he's obviously going to be around, so it'll be quite quick. Whilst I'm linking in and asking for that person, I am aware of someone stepping forward. Um, Brian's not the one that used to like wearing stripy trousers, is it? Oh, yes, that's the one. Right, okay, well, he was already here then waiting, so he obviously knew and was agreeing to come and speak to you. Do you mind if I carry on with this? And he was awesome. And interestingly enough, I know of a certain group of developing mediums who are playing quite strongly with reverse mediumship. Um,
Ooh.
and they're very good at it. I won't embarrass them by saying who, and I won't go into details, but just stay tuned because you will see it eventually. Um, but it's something that isn't done anywhere, and I think if I'm totally honest, it's about the courage to actually do it that stops people doing it. Because I actually think that we can ask. You won't always get who you want. You won't always get what you're asking for. I've done it from time to time, and I'll probably say I've got a 50-50 hit rate because there are many different factors in from what I've been shown. There are many different factors involved in whether that person feels it's right to come through, whether they want to come through, because it's a free universe, not just a free world. And they're at liberty to say actually no, but there are other ways of doing it as well. I've said, are they available? No, they are busy. They are doing stuff that they need to deal with first. Can you get something from them and pass it on so that I can pass it on so that they know that they're all right? And they've done that for me too. What about you, Tom?
Yes, I've done it occasionally. And like you just said, I think it's about a 50-50 hit rate, because I always say in a one-to-one setting, especially, I can't guarantee who's going to step forward. So if I'm sat with you, Nick, and you said, "Oh, I really want to hear from Dad." Well, I know, Nick, everybody wants to hear from that significant person. However, I can't guarantee he will step forward today, but let's go with it and see where we get. So the other day I was on Signs of the Afterlife and I'd started to give this lady a reading, and it was very emotional and it was very raw. And some of the stuff that started to come through, I did say to the lady who was hosting for me, look, this is really raw. I can't give this information here. Is it all right if I connect with this person afterwards and give her a one-to-one? Free of charge, but a one-to-one just to finish this off, because we really need the person in spirit really needs to say these things, and this lady really needs to hear these things. And we did video call, and I did say to her, look, I know you want to hear from the same person, but I don't know if he's going to come, but I'll try. And straight away he was there. And it works. But it doesn't always. Like you said, there is a multitude of reasons why that person may not want to. It could be too raw for the sitter. It could be too raw for the spirit person. It could be a number of things. Daniel, when you get back up this way, let's get together and we'll have a talk.
Yes.
See what we can do.
And you know what? In spite of what some might say, it's absolutely okay and fine to be nervous, because you'll have heard all of these wonderfully colourful and truly horrific scare stories, especially thanks to Hollywood and those who don't agree with what we do. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's the other. It's perfectly understandable, and don't be afraid to be afraid, because when you get that contact, when you open yourself up, you'll realize that it was never going to be that bad. But in that first few steps, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, and that's perfectly fine, and it's perfectly understandable. Just once again, it goes back to what we were saying right at the beginning. It's about being part of your own journey, taking it at your own pace, doing it in your own way, and just one breath at a time. I mean, there are certain aspects of mediumship that I still refuse to partake in. Famously, for those that have worked with me any amount of time will know that I absolutely will never at this point in time, as far as the way my brain is wired and the way I feel, I'll have no interest in doing physical mediumship. It just, there's too many factors involved in it that are unknown quantities, influential by others, and not necessarily needed or right. But that doesn't mean to say that I would say, oh, you should never do physical media. If you want to explore it, but it's
Yeah.
just not something for me. And but other things I'm absolutely engrossed with that others will say, "Oh, really, that again?" Um, it, because it is that personal journey, but it is absolutely, as Eunice says, um, a beautiful way of life, and everyone's here to help. And for a group of people to come together with slightly differing views, sometimes a little bit more differing, but all with that same common cause and intent to unite together and say, look, let's work together, let's help each other out on it. That's why I'm a spiritualist. I don't know about you, Tony.
Absolutely. And that is why, no matter how many weeks off we have, I always can't wait to get back to this group.
Yeah,
Because of all of the things I've done online, this group in particular, even though we all come at it from a slightly different perspective,
yeah,
it just gels, and the energy in this online space is amazing, absolutely
yeah,
amazing. And the way the conversations bubble away in the background as well, and there's those little communities being built up within the community, it's
yeah.
wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
and that's why when we switched over to obviously Restream and the new layout and everything, as soon as I saw that we could do that over there, it was like, oh yes, that is perfect. That is two Revs.
Yeah.
Because it brings the conversation in. And yes, I can still highlight comments. I've been practicing doing it today, not very well all the time. But I don't need to, because the conversation is there and you can see it. And there's I will say there is no Facebook user, and all of the
No.
different streams come together on the screen, so you can actually see each other's comments rather than, oh, I'm on Tony's page with so and so, so I can only see that. You look at the screen, you can see everyone's comments now,
Yes.
and it just helps tie tighter the ties that bind us.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
bit of a tongue twister. Try not to say that when you've had a couple of sauces.
No. And Lisa, that is the strapline for the Independent Spiritualist Alliance.
Really is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It absolutely. Pups are 5 weeks. You're keeping 2, you mad fool.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Amazing.
There's one thing I want to comment on, and this is kind of like a little bit of a plug, really. Sam says, I was in the bath recently, just relaxing, and as I went to get out, I had a male come through in a monk in a medieval robes to say hello, but I jumped so bad that I think I scared him off. I never seen him since, but often wondered who he was. Honestly, I think you'll see him again.
I've no doubt.
From my experience, those that make us jump tend to back off a little bit until they think we're ready again. And we might say we're ready, but there'll still be that little sense of cautiousness. And so you will.
You will.
You will. But yeah, we've all been there, haven't we?
We have, yes. I've been made to jump quite a few times, and like you say, if you don't, there's times when I don't think I'm particularly open to spirit. I might be a bit tired, a bit quiet, a bit subdued, and then you look around and there's somebody stood there. You go, oh gosh. They do tend to like, oh sorry, and disappear. But he will be back. He will be back. Maybe
Absolutely.
a guide, maybe not. Lorraine Clark, hello. I was just talking about your lovely group, darling. Signs of the Afterlife.
Hello, Lorraine.
Signs of the Afterlife. Wonderful group.
Look. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
So yeah,
Yep.
I would be quietly confident that there would be some kind of guiding role in that situation, purely because I've been working with you for 3 weeks, so I tend to be nosy.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't have been working with you, it would absolutely be exactly what Tony said. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? The point is, if you feel that kind of inclination, there's a reason for that thought being there, isn't there, Tony?
There is. Absolutely. Absolutely. It could be many things, but yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that the situation you told about the other week? Yeah.
Mm, yes. Shall I?
Go on then.
Right. So this little incident here. Hello, John. Hello, John Parry. Um, bless you. Everyone's turning up at the end again, isn't they?
I know.
So yeah, this little incident here, and I think it's a really good example of how they back off after they realise they've upset you. But this is also just how strong spirit can actually be. My niece was home alone. She was 16. She was home alone. Everyone was out, and she went in for a shower. And she was stood in the shower, turned the tap off, put a hand outside the curtain where the towel normally is to grab the towel. It wasn't there. John, you are forgiven, darling, and so are you, Lisa. It's fine. You came. That's what matters. Yeah, so she put her hand out for the towel. It wasn't there. So she pulled the curtain aside and looked down onto the floor to see where it had fallen, and it wasn't there. And then she noticed this silhouette in her peripheral vision, and as she turned her head, she screamed because there was this young girl holding a towel out towards her. And it turned out that it was my big sister, or one of my big sisters. Her mum is my biggest sister, because she's the oldest of the family. But there were um, seven lives lost between me and my sister. And so they continue to interact with us in the world of spirit. And she decided to go and say hello to my niece, and scared the bajinkies out of her. And that took a while to calm her down. Lucy was always a little bit cheeky and a little bit naughty, but she did back off a little bit after that. But yeah, that absolutely, she laughs about it now. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's that kind of nervous, naughty laugh. As yeah, isn't it funny? Stop telling the story, Uncle Nick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows that they do back off if they upset you. But the fact that she could actually physically show herself holding a towel is just amazing, because I've never had that experience myself personally.
Oh, hello, Father.
Hello, hi boss. So it's a I love telling that one because it kind of emphasizes that they will back off, but also that they can do amazing things. Here she is. Hello, Joanne. Yeah,
Hello.
Friday. Thank Crunchy. It's Friday. Time for a bit of a break coming up.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
for those that do get a break over the weekend. But yeah, I really enjoy telling that story because
It's
it
amazing.
winds my niece up.
No, it's the spiritual aspect.
It is the spiritual
Yes.
aspect.
Yes.
But would you Adam and Eve it, or Adam and Steve it? Yes. See, and she says she's not a good medium and that she's no good at it and everything. She's seen things that I haven't. She actually saw Dad like he was real.
Wow.
And Lisa says, been feeling a bit better in myself, and that's why I started seeing spirit again. My mum gave me a big cuddle too. Wow. Love it.
Mm.
Love it. But sadly, my friends, it's that time of the week
It,
again.
it, we must go.
The time has come to say goodnight,
Yep.
for every show must end. But you'll always be there in our hearts, our special Spiritline friends. Thank you all for being with us today. I hope you've had a good afternoon. It's been wonderful sharing thoughts and experiences with you all. And of course, my good friend Tony, it's been amazing working with you as always.
It's been
Uh,
amazing. Amazing working with you, Nick.
and an hour and 20 minutes gone by in the blink of an eye, Cherry. She'll know what I mean. But thank you all, as usual, for being with us. We hope you've enjoyed your time and maybe shared a thought or two that has, helped add to your information bank when it comes to being a spiritual person or a medium and or both. I'm off to cook a chili con carne and pick up a sign for
Very
Sunday
nice.
from the post office. What are you up to, Tony?
We're having a Rainbow Project trip tomorrow to York. So
Ooh.
yes, early train tomorrow. So I will be chilling for the rest of the evening because I think it's going to be a bit of a thrashing day around York.
Absolutely. Do you know, a lot of things that have been said today have reminded me of songs and of TV shows. And of course, the Rainbow Project's off to York. The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. Lucky boy. And on that note, I will say, God bless you all.
Bye, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend.
You too, Tony, and to all of you, God bless, and have a wonderful, wonderful time. And if you're about 12:15 Sunday, we're back doing our online services too. And stay tuned as well for a special announcement, because Rev Tony's asked me to prepare him something for an up and coming project of his own too. So keep an eye out for that. There you go, it's out there now. And
Amazing.
update.
We love it.
She's definitely giving her those Tim Tams, isn't she?
She is. Yes. Yeah. She's going to be throwing the Tim Tams on the stage.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see the pictures and the videos of that. It's going to be cool. So stay tuned for that too. God bless you all. We're off to go nibble now. Good night and God bless, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Mute.